Time travels in a straight line from the past into the future, but it can be difficult to recognize the peaks and valleys of history when immersed in it. Only when looking back can we truly recognize and appreciate when great things came to an end and others achieved perfection. Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and this is the history of Skysurfer Strike Force. Skysurfer Strike Force is an animated series that ran for 26 episodes over 2 seasons from 1995 to 1996. It is the culmination of storytelling, marketing, and character design trends that began in the early 80s, stripped of any nuance. This is trying to catch a fly with a sledgehammer and having a blast. In the near future, artificial intelligence pioneer Adam Hollister is killed when an explosion destroys the facility where his lab is located. The prototype computer brain he had been developing is missing, and during the chaos, Adam is framed for both the explosion and the brain loss. The only one who suspects foul play is his son, Jack Hollister, who swears not only to prove his father's innocence, but to find out who the real perpetrator was and bring them to justice. He's smart enough to know that whoever has that brain has the answers. Jack doesn't have to look very hard, as the person who stole the brain never planned to keep it a secret. Cybron, a master criminal and cyborg fused with that very brain, unleashes an evil cadre of superpowered bioborgs aimed at controlling the city of Computopia. See, Computopia is a city of the future with fully digital infrastructure, auto defense systems, self-driving cars, video communications, public Wi-Fi, shiny buildings with glass domes, handheld gaming. It's a computer utopia on a secluded island, a perfect starter project for an aspiring techno-autocrat. Jack Hollister defies this techno-terror through the power of love and money. With funding provided by one of the wealthiest men in the world and the founder of Computopia, Jack recruits his friends to become a high-flying daredevil vigilante justice squad, the Skysurfer Strike Force. That kind of works. Every member of the team is equipped with a wrist-mounted Digitrans device that can, on command, equip them with one-of-a-kind enhancement armor and weapons. The Digitrans allows them to communicate with each other and control the skyboards they ride through the air, which are essentially transforming rocket-powered flying cars. Jack Hollister, as Skysurfer 1, leads the team. He is handsome, athletic, and expert hand-to-hand combat, and likes to relax by rock climbing. He wields a deadly fire sword and uses a shield for both defense and offense. He's all business in the front, all party in the back. Skysurfer 2 is Mickey Flanagan, codenamed Crazy Stunts, which is admittedly a little on the nose. He's a carefree joker who's deadly serious about serious business, forever falling in love with damsels in distress. He's dressed like a fabulous cowboy with a ponytail that goes all the way down, sporting 2 fast-draw pistols that fire electrically charged super whips. Skysurfer 3 is Kim Sakai, codenamed Sliced Ice. She's packing an engineering degree from MIT, a black belt in karate, and true to her alter ego, an ice saber that can cut through steel and fire blasts of dry ice gas. Not to mention doing all the things the boys are doing while wearing 4-inch heels. That said, as somewhat of a I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on the varieties of ice, more of a highly informed fan with an opinion. From your machined high-density half-crescents to silicone tray 3/4 hollow natural trapezoids. Ice comes in different shapes and textures, densities, clarities, each with their unique temperature and flavor influences. But there is absolutely no such thing as sliced ice. Look, ice in and of itself cannot be sliced. Given the state of matter, any heat applied to the surface, friction especially. Skysurfer 4 is Nathan James, codenamed Air Enforcer. He's not just the muscle, but the heavy artillery, rocket launchers, missiles, wrist blaster, everything you need as a one-man flying tank. That said, he's got the weakest pun name of the 4 teammates. A play on Air Force Enforcer, I guess? Not like Skysurfer 5, Brad Wright, codenamed Sore Loser. Not sore like, ouch, I bit my tongue while chewing this ice. No, sore like flying through the air on angel's wings. And loser like, get a load of this guy with his room temperature Dr. Pepper. He just poured it into a glass right out of... Cybron was pretty smart before he stole the computer brain. Now, Probably the smartest. Serena, his daughter, assists in the execution of his evil deeds alongside a team of superpowered bioborgs. The shapeshifter Replicon, Grenader the Grenade Man, Laserette the laser-faced lady, Noxious the Stinkmaster, Chronozoid the time manipulator, and Dr. Five Eyes the Quintaclops with a PhD.
Sky surfing in on the sonic waves of hyperspace comes the Skysurfer Strike Force. Their mission? Rid the world of Cybron and his sinister bioborgs. It's Skysurfer 1 and his blazing gladiators, Air Enforcer, Crazy Stunts, Sore Loser, and Sliced Ice, battling these fearsome foes. So lock on to the exciting adventures of Skysurfer Strike Force.
Sunday mornings at 7:30 on the Kids Club.
Strike Force Surfer Guys was created by Ruby Spears Productions, one of the pillars of children's entertainment in the 70s and 80s. Joe Ruby and Ken Spears found their place in animation while working at Hanna-Barbera in the late 60s and early 70s. On sound editing, on writing, the pair worked on shows like Space Ghost and The Herculoids. In 1969, CBS Vice President of Programs Fred Silverman commissioned Hanna-Barbera to produce a mystery series for Saturday mornings. Joe Ruby and Ken Spears rose to the challenge, creating Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, going so far as to name one of the characters after Silverman. It was Fred. But they didn't stick around long after that. Wanting to become associate producers, frustrated with the slow climb through Hanna-Barbera, they signed on with CBS, working for Fred Silverman, managing the Saturday morning kids lineup. In 1975, Silverman left CBS to become president of rival network ABC. Joe and Ken went with him. In 1977, looking to inject some competition into the market against the juggernaut Hanna-Barbera, Silverman set Ruby and Spears up with their own production studio as a subsidiary of the CBS-owned Filmways Productions. Ruby Spears Productions would go on to create shows like Fang Face, the Plastic Man Comedy Adventure Show, and Thundar the Barbarian before being sold off to Taft Broadcasting, who also owned Hanna-Barbera. It was not so much a competition anymore as it was a team effort to claim children's eyeballs. As a Taft subsidiary, Ruby Spears produced some of their finest work: Rubik the Amazing Cube, Mr. T, Dragon's Lair, Turbo Teens, Sectars, Centurions, Laser Tag Academy, Rambo, Mega Man, and more. In 1988, they even produced the animated sequence for the movie Child's Play. Ruby Spears was an integral part of the era of children's programming that transitioned from Saturday mornings to weekday syndication as the key driver of advertising revenue, and also television shows as 30-minute advertisements for toys. Each show pushing the boundaries of science fiction and fantasy, reaching for higher, faster, more spectacular adventures, each studio testing the limits, precariously balanced on the fringe of what kids want and what they can sell to networks. You can chart a direct path from He-Man to Transformers to G.I. Joe to Thundercats to Centurions to Ninja Turtles to Cops to Toxic Crusaders to Cowboys of Moo Mesa to Biker Mice from Mars to Street Sharks. Each year an iteration that pushes the formula further away from the point of origin, further into absurdity. The same way a sport like skysurfing happens. You don't start with, let's jump out of an airplane with a snowboard attached to our feet in tandem with a cameraman. That's a creation through progression over time. You chase the adrenaline rush so far down the path that when you pause to take stock of where you are, you realize that you're someplace you never planned to be. By 1995, skysurfing was being prominently featured in advertising, international competitions, and on television as part of ESPN's Extreme Games. With that kind of mainstream excitement, it was only a matter of time before it intersected with kids' television. Animation for Skysurfer Strike Force was produced by Ashi Productions. Founded in 1975, they had a long and distinguished portfolio of Japanese series like Go Shogun, Machine Robo, Revenge of Kronos, and Macross 7. In the US, they worked on shows like Mask and Mega Man. Skysurfer looks better than you would expect. Bohbot Entertainment, founded in 1985, featured Skyforce Surf Strikers on a block of syndicated programming called Amazin Adventures, with shows like Princess Guinevere and the Jewel Riders, Ultra Force, Extreme Dinosaurs, Mighty Max, and Sonic the Hedgehog. Skysurfing Striker Force had a small cast with voice actors taking on multiple roles. Alvin Sanders was Cybron and Air Enforcer, Richard Newman was Grenader and Dr. Five Eyes, Paul Dobson was Chronozoid, Replicon, and Crazy Stunts, Janice Joe, David Kay, and Michael Donovan, a handful of people giving voice to an entire world of characters. The opening theme and all of the music for Season 1 is heavily influenced by the MIDI compositions of video game soundtracks. Music editing is by Carl Willems and Jason Fredrickson. Season 2 brings in an all-girl Japanese funk metal band called Super Junkie Monkey for the new opening theme Skysurfers and the new closing theme I Call Myself Sliced Ice. Both songs are available on Spotify. Bandai produced a limited line of toys for Skysurfer Strike Force, including 2 different scales of action figures with vehicles. The main line was the 5 Skysurfers as 3 3/4-inch figures with more articulation than a vintage Star Wars figure, but less than a G.I. Joe. Each figure came with a signature weapon and a transforming car/skyboard. The second line was more speed-oriented, small 1-inch non-posable figures that were attached by foot pegs to wield skyboards or cars that could speed off with the motorized pullback activation. No villains made the cut for either line. Bandai also produced a role-play Digitrans device with pop-open wings that you can wear to imagine you've transported yourself back to the 90s to take advantage of the Long John Silver's Kids Meal premiums, toys of Skysurfer 1, Crazy Stunts, and finally, Cybron. No, let it go, it's fine. It's fine. Let it go. Surfer Strike Force Sky didn't make it into comics or novels. There were no video games, sneakers, or cereal bowls. If you wanted to be sore loser on Halloween, you were going to have to improvise. But you could bring home the adventure on VHS tapes. Family Home Entertainment released 3 tapes with 2 episodes each in 1995. In 2006 and 2007, Digiview Entertainment released the entire first season and 7 episodes from the second season on DVD. They are simple, no-frills releases, but this modern world we live in, this streamatopia, provides relief. Episodes of Skysurfer Strike Force are currently streaming on Pluto TV, Tubi TV, Apple TV, Prime Video, and here on YouTube. Skysurfer Strike Force marks the end of an era. After 19 years of producing children's entertainment, helping to shape the pop culture landscape, Ruby Spears ceased production in 1996. Skysurfer Strike Force was the last series produced before the company was absorbed into Turner Broadcasting System, which was then merged with Time Warner. Skysurfer Strike Force was rebroadcast on the Sci-Fi Network in 1999 and 2000. As of 2019, the rights are held by Invincible Entertainment Group, an independent film and television distribution company. My sources indicate that there is no Skysurfer Strike Force reboot currently in the pipeline. And that's actually a shame. The 90s are in right now, and everything that Skysurfer Strike Force was doing back in 95 and 96 is being done to an even greater degree in current animation. Look no further than the over-the-top, beautifully managed visual spectacle of One Punch Man or My Hero Academia. Skysurfer Strike Force is a product of the genre's evolution. It's easy to look back now and call the character designs garish, the concept absurd. It looks and feels like someone tried to assemble a series from a bin full of random parts of all the 80s and 90s shows that came before it. But it was exactly what it was intended to be, near-future science fiction, speaking to the concerns about loss of humanity due to an overly computerized world, action built on high adrenaline, real-world concepts that kids could easily mimic with the few toys that existed or just running around their neighborhoods. There was no big finale for Skysurfer Strike Force. It ends with the next episode of the series. The contractual obligation to deliver 26 episodes fulfilled, and so it was with Ruby Spears as well. The studio that delivered decades of entertainment quietly, unceremoniously retired, carried into history on a transforming, rocket-powered flying car. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very, very much to those of you who already are. If you haven't heard, we started streaming on Twitch. Find us twice a week at twitch.tv/toygalaxy. If you're in the position to help the channel grow, please visit our Patreon or become a YouTube channel member. Please share this video and let us know in the comments down below what part of the 90s would be extrapolated on you as part of your 90s superhero design. You can't have all the pouches. That's been done. There's already enough giant shoulder pads. I'm gonna go in the other direction. I personally wore a lot of unbuttoned flannel shirts over other shirts, so that's what I'm doing. 10 flannel shirts all layered on top of each other. I carry a giant flamethrower, and my name is Flannel Larson. Flannel Arson. Flannel Arson. Does that work?
Probably work better if you didn't mess up the joke.
Flannel Arson.